5 more seconds for Arsenal season.
Fuck you, man. The worst part is I actually got quiet because I have nothing to say. But fuck you.
What's up, Benchwarmers? We're kind of in a gloomy
Blue?
mood. Where at least half of us are in a gloomy mood today. Sorry, Marco.
A little blue.
A little blue. Yeah, it looks like you're a little blue today. You're looking pretty dashing though. I like it. I like the comb over.
I dressed up
The
for
casual
you
wear?
to give me shit. Okay?
The casual wear?
That's what I did. I dressed up for you to give me shit because Eric decided not to come in today.
Eric's not here. We're a few bench warmers short. Some previous engagements,
Getting ready for the weekend.
Some are getting ready for the weekend, of course. We have a lot of stuff that we want to bring to you guys and break to you guys also. Some interesting and awesome events that we're going to be a part of and that we're hosting, attending, and we'll get to all that. But
first,
in the studio, my name's Diego, and I'm joined today
by
Marco the Interrupter. He's already interrupting me, and I can't even finish the intros. So I'm going to hit you with, you know what, Marco, we're going to do a bit of housekeeping, just you and I, and get through this really quick.
Of course.
Where can they listen to us, Marco?
They can listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher by searching Benchwarmers FC.
Nice. That was smooth, dude.
Bro, I know it by a T now, bro. It's all here and right there.
Yeah, okay. That's right. The board. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure that you follow us and see our new posts. We're putting up a lot of new content, new video, new events, and you can search us on any of these platforms by looking up the account username BenchwarmersFC1. Marco, where can they watch us?
They can watch us. They can watch this podcast. They can watch our interviews with fans and other people that we will be talking about in a couple minutes. And tech ball videos on YouTube at Benchwarmers FC TV.
Nice. And remember that you can always write to us, especially if you have any events that you'd like us to be a part of, to check out, to benched@benchwarmersfc.com. And also, like always, in every podcast, we remind you guys and encourage all of you fans, listeners, fellow benchwarmers to join us on the bench, share your voice, because again, we're the bench, we're the voice. I guess we're going to jump right into the Champions League. Oh, since Eric's not here, that's why he's not. That's why
you really want to, with the coronavirus going around, do you really want to blow on that?
I'm going to let you do it, dude.
Nah, I'm good. There you go.
I don't know where Eric's
mouth has been.
So. All right, real quick, real short, little whistle blow for the kickoff.
If Diego's not here on Monday, we know why.
Yeah. Actually, since we are starting kickoff, before we get into the games, especially all the European action this week, lots of it, I do want to take a minute and shout out Smithfield Hall. Thank you very much, Smithfield Hall, for having us out there. I know it was something a bit impromptu, but they were super cool about it. They let us take footage, put our cameras out, throw up our lights and everything, shove mics in people's faces. They were super cool about it. So I do want to thank and shout out Smithfield Hall. It's an awesome place to go catch a match. I've been there personally to watch some United matches. Notably, the comeback they had, I think it was almost now 2 years ago, against City when Pogba, I think he scored twice, and then Smalling scored the last goal. It was like a 3-2 comeback.
It's the one that you guys denied them winning the title.
Yes. And then we lost the next week against West Brom.
Oh, like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So either way, it was an awesome experience. That's for me as a United fan. But what I do want to get to is the Bayern NYC fan club also militates there. They also gather there for their matches, and they were a super, super atmosphere, especially a lot of the fans that we found at the bar itself. They were actual, they were German fans. Like, they were visiting from Germany, and there was quite a handful of them, actually, because it turns out that, Smithfield has a bit of a repertoire amongst Bayern fans, at least, especially. And we also saw some of the fans from the opposite side of the bar, because it's split in two if you ever go visit, and those fans were from the Barca Penya in New York City. We also got to speak to both presidents for each, so we got really lucky. Thank you, looking right into the camera, for Jordy and for Sarah, for giving us a few minutes of your time and for talking to us. I know the on-the-spot questions might have been a little bit, I guess, unexpected but they handled it very well as all the fans. So thank you to all the fans that also spoke to us. I just want to shout everyone out because we had an awesome time, and it's cool to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Marco wasn't there
I was
this
to
time
say,
around.
like, I don't know what that feels
Marco
like.
has no idea what I'm talking about, but he
I'm
will
staring at
be.
him like blankly.
But
I'm
he
like,
will be. He will be out there. You're gonna get out there.
I
Marco.
just have to edit the videos. That's it.
Marco
Like, oh,
is
Marco,
gonna
you
get-
didn't go, so here, contribute, help us out a little bit. We're all drunk. We can't edit the videos,
Wow,
so you can
throwing
do
us
it
all under
because
the
you just got out of
bus.
work.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. But it was cool. It was an awesome time. I think this is also a pretty. I think it's a good time to shout out the fact that we're going to make it out to the mini Clasico.
Yes,
So that's something that
tomorrow.
you will be at. You will be at, Marco. So
they're allowing me to actually go out to the world now.
Okay.
They're waiting for me to get out of work for me to go
God.
with them to a
Yes,
mini
yes,
Clasico.
we are. Yes, we are. We're waiting for Marco to get out and to get free. Jordi, the president of the Barca Penya, had invited us himself. He told us about this event. We had just coincidentally looked at it. We stumbled upon it on Instagram. Ricky from the crew from the Benchwarmers team had sent it over to us just that same day. So it was pretty cool how the kind of like those two things aligned. It happens to be the second annual mini Clasico that they're hosting. I think it's a pretty cool idea, and really quickly what it's about. It looks like they get together, and what I mean by they is the Barca Penya and the Real Madrid Penya, the supporters from each of these clubs. You know that there's a certain type of animosity, hate, dislike, however you want to call it, but the way Jordi put it is that they really focus on having a sense of community by having this mini Clasico. It's like a small-sided game that they play. They're going to play at Chelsea Park this year. And then afterwards, they have what they advertise as the tercer tiempo, which is, I guess you could literally translate it as the third half or third time, I guess. But the point of that is that they go to a bar. I'm guessing they went to a Barca bar last year because he said that it was Madrid's turn this year. So they're going to go to the Playwright in New York City. So I'm just putting all that info out there. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. In the city. The game is going to start at Chelsea Park, and then afterwards, they're all going to march over to Playwright, have some beers or as much as the supply lasts, and then they're just going to have a good time. He said that it's there so that they can exchange and communicate and be able to, I guess, I don't know, relate to each other on a more human level, like putting soccer and like their club rivalries aside, which I thought was pretty cool. Because otherwise, if I see a dude with a Barca jersey, I'm sorry, but
you automatically start talking shit.
Yeah,
even though you might not
you're
tell
garbage
that person.
You're garbage to me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it because
Like,
I also feel the
understand
same
what you
way. I feel exactly the same way.
But it's pretty cool. So a shout out to Jordi for inviting us there. We'll see what the future holds for us tomorrow. We're gonna go out there, a few of us bench warmers, and see what that's like. But without further ado, we're gonna get into the Champions League action this year, and we're going to start formally with Napoli versus Barcelona. Barcelona going over to the Italian side, playing this in the away fixture for them. Dries Mertens getting the first goal, doing a little dance. We saw that on the TVs. It was pretty funny. We were watching it. He's just like sticking his tongue out, dancing in front of the camera and stuff. It was a tidy finish into the was most likely like the top corner on the right side of the goal. And then Griezmann getting it on the score sheet with also a tidy finish, a low, hard, driven shot into the goal. They looked a little bit frustrated after talking to both some of the fans in the bar, including the interviews that we did. It looks like they were a bit, I guess, not disappointed, but frustrated is probably the better word to use, that they weren't able to break down Napoli and go away with a win. Obviously, an away goal isn't anything to be upset about. No. It's probably enough for them to advance in the tie, and that's if they don't score at the Camp Nou, which is borderline impossible, especially with a team like that.
Correct.
But it looks like they have this wrapped up. Really, I asked them a little bit about Braithwaite and him helping them in the domestic league, so that they can focus on putting the starters. Because after this match, the news that was circulating was that they had only 12 eligible players, for that were like healthy, or something like that.
For what match? For the Champions League? For the Copa Clasico?
I think so. Yeah. Yes,
I
yes.
heard something similar to that. That
Because that
what's
Piqué was out and
Piqué injured, and I don't know how long he's gonna be out. Um, I know that, of course, we know that Suarez is out. We know that Dembele is out.
Mhm.
But I know, yes, injury has been big problem for Barcelona
A big
this year, and
factor
one of the reasons why they went to purchase this one guy is because of
is
injuries.
because of injuries. Yeah.
So, hey, at the end of the day, it's better for us, but at the same time, no, because we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to El Clasico soon enough. Going on to the second match of that day, the one that we were watching together with the Bayern fans, with a very lively Bayern crowd, to say the least. We had Chelsea host Bayern Munich at Stamford Bridge, and that ended 3-0. Two Serge Gnabry goals, and Lewandowski finished
I
at the
mean,
end.
all I have to say is when I'm right, I'm right.
Marco's gonna take all the credit for this one. Marco,
When I'm right, I'm right, and that's it. Punto final.
for all the followers and listeners,
Everybody said 2-1,
who
2-0,
tuned
3-1.
in,
I'm
who
like, no,
tuned
no,
in on
no.
Monday.
3-0.
Marco predicted 3-0, and it happened to be 3-0. So
I mean, I should win something.
take your imaginary prediction points. Here you go. But yeah, you got it right. You got it absolutely right. And it looked like Bayern again are just so comfortable against London clubs, and at least it gave some relief to both Spurs and Arsenal supporters that Chelsea fans can't go in front of them and be like, "Oh, at least we didn't get smashed like you guys," when they just did.
Yeah.
And to
Well,
most of the fans that we spoke to that day, they're expecting more goals in the second leg too.
I heard one of the interviews again when I was editing one of them. One of them was she said something about, oh, I'm just expecting us to win like 5-1.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I actually believe you.
Yeah.
I think this is something that can happen, but
But
there's a big but now.
yes, we got some bad news right after that match, and it was a confirmed knee injury
Correct.
to Robert Lewandowski, and it looks like he's going to be out for upwards of 4 weeks.
Correct.
And there was a number of matches, I think around 7 or 8, that
he might miss.
But the most notable ones, and I have them here so I don't mess up. It looks like he's going to miss the return fixture.
Possibility, yes.
Possibility if he doesn't get healthy in time. That one is one of the earliest ones, and then afterwards they have Dortmund and Leverkusen in the league, which are very big ties, especially after seeing what Leverkusen did against Dortmund. They're definitely a team that you can't sleep on. So every point that's available right now in the domestic league, they definitely need to capitalize on. It looks like they might be a bit comfortable. Let's say maybe in cruise control right now with a 3-goal cushion, but stranger things have happened, and we saw that with this same exact Chelsea team coming back against Ajax when it looked like they were knocked out, and we'll get to Ajax later because that's the mind-blowing stat for them. But so 3-0, you have Serge Gnabry again getting all the lauds, all the applause, and officially scoring more goals in London than Pepe. So
I mean, look, at the end of the day, he was an Arsenal player, and
listen,
I know for a fact I know for a fact that those meant a lot more for him than any other goal that he might have scored.
I will give, as far as that stat goes, scoring more goals in London, he does take trolling pretty seriously, and I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for that because at least he has, how we say, los cojoncitos to tweet out after the match. London is still red. Like, what's up? And he's doing it for his old team.
At the end of the day, it's his childhood team.
Mm-hmm.
He still has a lot of love for Arsenal.
Yeah.
He one day maybe come back. He might not ever at all, but he will still continue rooting for them.
It looks like if he's still tweeting out like that, it looks like it.
Look, I would love to see him back. Will he come back? That's up to him. If the money's there, if the stars align the proper way, if I don't know what has to happen for him to come back, but if not, then at least he's still gonna be a fan. Once he retires, he will still have that love for Arsenal.
At least he'll put out some fire tweets so you guys can bash on your rivals.
He can at least fucking give them shit and say, look, London is still, like you said, London is still red. I'm scoring against Chelsea. This is for you guys. Kind of like shit. Like, I'll take after this week. I'll take anything. I'll take anything.
Absolutely, man. I get that. For a prediction that did go horribly wrong, though, for most of us, and I feel almost kind of bad because we were borderline clowning on Lyon against this strong Juve side, this strong Cristiano Ronaldo Juve side. that's been scoring for consecutive weeks. They scalped a 1-0 lead in the home fixture, and it was Toussaint getting on the score sheet, and it looked like they were almost gonna fight back into it in like the last like 10 minutes or so. Especially with Ronaldo on your team, it looks very possible for that to happen. I don't know if you caught some of like the highlights of that game, but there was a moment at the end. I think it was like in the last 10 minutes, close to stoppage time, even when there was like a pitch invader that came onto the field and like made a straight beeline to Ronaldo, who was like maybe in the attacking third. The ball was closer to like the midfield and stuff. And usually like I'll say it like this: there's a lot of people who are upset about the way he reacted. Like they're upset about the fact because Ronaldo, what he did is instead of like looking like let him approach, take a selfie, whatever he wants. First thing Ronaldo did is that he walked over to him and like put both arms out and pushed him out the way. He's like, get out of here. Like he's pushing him off, and then the security comes running onto the pitch. He gets loose, runs back to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's like again telling him to like get off the field. There are people that are like, oh, I remember I saw a few tweets saying the same thing that like life is more than football. Maybe Ronaldo was this person's idol. You don't know what people are going through. He could have just taken a photo with him, and like I understand that, but my viewpoint was not in this game.
No,
not in this game.
Look, there's a fine line between wanting to take a picture with your idol and interrupting a match.
Yeah,
it's like anybody. You can be a sports person, a player, a big time player, or an actor, or whatever, or a singer. You approaching them at their home, like, oh, let me knock on the door. Let me have a picture with you right now. It's like, no, you're invading their space. Ronaldo could have been pissed off as fuck right at the moment because they're losing.
He could have swung.
Huh?
He could have swung.
You don't know what the person coming running. Usually 99 to 100% of the time they'll come for a picture,
like,
or a hug,
something simple.
But you don't know if that person might be a Lyon fan that hates Ronaldo with passion or and comes in with a punch.
Yeah, any kind of fan that just wants to interrupt the game.
Yeah, so you have to. I don't personally, at least in Champions League, just don't jump in, man.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
Yeah, it's not.
If it's a friendly, go ahead. I think Ronaldo has taken the 100 pictures with them.
Yeah.
Messi has done it. Neymar has done it. They
All
walked everybody out. Mm-hmm. I think didn't we see in the Rebels one that there was one time there was at least like 11 people jumping in to the pitch, and then there was one big guy that jumped in that nobody stopped him, but at the same time nobody paid attention to him. I'm like, those are funny because it's a friendly. Nobody really cares. If you get away with it, you get away with it. I think the guy actually made it in, took a picture, and walked out and got back into the stand.
Yeah, nobody
cared. Yeah.
We're not narking on you, man. We're not identifying you.
Again, I was a big guy. That's all I can remember. But this one is a Champions League game. Ronaldo is pissed that they're down. Why do it?
You don't need to. And like, honestly, some other people are saying that, oh, maybe this fan was intoxicated, maybe they were drunk, maybe they had no idea what they were doing. Is that Ronaldo's fault? It's not. And that's what I'm saying. At least in my point of view is, and of course we want to hear your opinion. We want to know what you guys think. Was it Ronaldo correct in reacting this way? I honestly think he was, because aside from the, I guess, again using this word, frustration from going down against Lyon and not being effective after scoring for consecutive matches. And we've been talking about it here on the podcast too. We were talking about it on the show, how he's been heating up for this specific moment because he is Mr. Champions League. He is someone who turns it up in this European competition. You don't want to get interrupted like that. Like get off, man. Like the ball, you kill the momentum. Exactly. Yeah, you kill the momentum that the team has, and it's not the right time. I think that's what it boils down to.
I think it was between that and Dybala's nutmeg.
Oh my!
Which I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch as much of the game that I would have loved to. Bro. I saw that, and the way that they do it in slow motion. It makes it even more funny.
You see him hang his head up like, damn. Bro, I just wanted to shout out to Danny and Mati. I just first thing I thought was like, le hizo mierda. Hizo mierda al Dybala, dude. It was clean too, because I think he put it past him. He regained possession and then he made a pass after that. So it counts. It counts, guys. It counts. It wasn't that he put the ball through his legs and then it went out of bounds for a throw-in. Like,
for a person that just likes to watch the game just to watch the game, that is one of the most hilarious things I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, and definitely, Dybala was. A lot of people were saying this was pretty much a stinker for him. He didn't have a good match at all, and it really showed. I mean, aside from the scoreline, which is obvious, it showed like in their chance creation, 0 shots on target
Yeah.
for this Juve side in
And
90 minutes. That's unheard of.
And just to leave it at this, the last bit of about this game is
Mhm.
it's an eye opening.
Yeah.
An eye opening not only for us because we took out Lyon out of this competition. We
wrote
just
them off
assumed that
early.
that they weren't going to be able to do anything. But it also means that Juve is really relying on Ronaldo to do everything for them, or at least scoring those goals.
Mhm.
And then if one day he's not able to do it, or one game he's not able to do it, then who's going to be scoring those goals?
Yeah.
So that's something that Juve has to go back home, think about. And next time because I don't think Lyon's going to be able to beat Juve at home. But then again, Ajax did it. So
yeah, it's
last season. So I just think that Juve has to open their eyes and be like, okay, Ronaldo's not the only one that has to do things here.
Yeah, they have to step
Dybala
up.
has to do it.
Cuadrado
has to do it. Higuain, everybody, literally everybody. Higuain was on the bench, so don't give me shit.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say anything.
You looked at me. You started laughing. You looked at me and started laughing. And I know right now if Eric is editing the whatchamacallit, he's laughing, and the first thing he thought about was Hamburglar.
Oh my god!
I can see the future.
Speaking of Higuain's former teams, Real Madrid were hosting Man City, and a very, very interesting stat. Getting right to the scoreline, Madrid losing 2-1 at home. This is only the third English team. I was actually pretty surprised by this. The third English team to beat Madrid in history at the Bernabeu. The first team that did it was Arsenal. And then I believe it was Liverpool, and now it's Man City that have beaten Real Madrid at home. They've been unstoppable against English teams, at least in that category, facing them at the Bernabeu. And I thought I thought the game was wrapped up with the Isco goal. Isco goal was beautiful.
Oh yeah,
it was a clean breakaway. I think it was Mendy, right, on the left side, cutting the ball back. Isco knew exactly where the ball was going, just side-footed it, nice, low and hard, into the back corner of the net. And I was like, all right, that's it. Like, game over. City's not gonna get back into this.
Laporte got injured right after.
Yeah, and a lot of people were even more confident that they were gonna walk away with a 1-0 win. But then, they put in. Jesus started.
Yes.
Aguero was benched. A lot of people were a bit upset about that.
Correct.
But then De Bruyne was deployed a bit further up when Sterling came on, and he turned the game on its head in 5 minutes.
Which we actually thought Sterling wasn't going to make it for this game.
Yeah, we thought Sterling was going to be a non-factor.
Which is surprising.
Non-factor.
He wasn't going to play. But look, they came in, they did what they had to do, and they walked away with a dub. Plus, we're not going to have Ramos for the return when we go to Man City, which is even more depressing. It hurts a lot more, and Ramos doing what he did was, in my eyes, kind of unnecessary.
You saw it, right?
I did.
You saw it.
He didn't. So he pulled. So he was on his left side.
Did you see it live or the replay?
I saw it live.
You saw it live?
Yeah.
Me too. So, all right, let me know what was going through your head when that happened, because
I knew what was going to happen immediately. First of all, who was it fucked up? Was it Modric? Who was the one that did the soft pass that made Ramos have to follow?
Wasn't that Mendy?
Was it Mendy?
I think it was.
Whoever it was that made the soft pass back to Ramos.
It wasn't Varane.
I thought it was like Modric or Casemiro, which I don't think it was. It might have been Mendy.
Yeah,
but soft pass back.
Mendy was the first
Ramos.
player that Jesus got past.
Yeah,
Mendy was on the ground already by the time Jesus had possession of the ball.
It might have been that, but anyways, regardless, bad pass back. Jesus grabs it. Ramos is running on Jesus' right side.
He's trying to get goal side.
Yeah, so he tries to run around him, trips a little bit over, and then pulls his shoulder. A very soft foul, but foul at the end of the day. Almost at the line. Very dumb thing to do. If I were him, the thing is that we were already we were 1-1 at the moment. I personally, if I was in his shoes, I would have let it happen and see if Courtois can stop it.
Right.
It's still a 50-50 chance. But then you're limiting your team for the next round.
Right. You gotta in that moment you have to think of the other 90 minutes. Like, that has to be the first thing in your mind, especially if you're such a veteran defender like Sergio Ramos.
And
like, think about, you know what? Even if we go down, we still got another chance to come back at them.
Like, I understand it when like Valverde did it.
Yes.
When Valverde got the red, it was a tactical foul. He did it for the team because he knew that the result is we won.
Yeah.
And we walk away with the trophy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, we still have another 90 minutes. Why risk it? You know that Militao and Varane aren't. They can play together. It's just that it's not proven that they're extremely effective.
Yeah, they're not connecting well.
Yeah, and then it's just a struggle. The whole lineup in the back is a struggle. Plus, even fucking Carvajal doing what he did. It's fucking frustrating, man. That's what it is. It's fucking frustrating. A lot of
frustration in this episode,
it
man.
Hurts, man. It hurts.
So it does hurt too, because I was like, bro, of course. I mean, Gabriel Jesus did make a meal out of it, but honestly, anyone would, especially like as soon as like it's kind of one of those things when you're in the box and you feel like what's it called? They use the term anticipating contact. Like you're gonna go down as soon as you feel that touch. It's like. I'm going down, baby. Going down, baby.
It's like the smartest tactical foul you can take.
Yeah.
Like Ramos is running behind me. He kind of clips me on my foot and pulls me. Of course, I'm going down.
To quote Andrew Santos, the dark arts.
There you go. You learn it.
Even
Pep said he doesn't teach that. Who was the one that said, "Oh yeah, I love learning these things"?
It was Rodri.
Yeah.
Rodri. Yeah, Rodri. So yeah, listen. This is the team that has been disciplined in the dark arts. So you don't want to do that against them. But again, Kevin De Bruyne stepping up for the penalty.
Yes. Can I say something? And it's like way out, way out.
Okay.
But I want to put it out in the universe just because I'm really praying that it happens.
What?
De Bruyne didn't really celebrate.
Oh.
Do you think?
Oh, you're right.
Is there a possibility?
I don't know, man.
That next season,
I don't know. Man.
Faith might have it.
The
stars might line up in a certain way.
I didn't even think about that.
It was the first thing I noticed was him not celebrating. And then I'm like, ooh. Ooh. I mean, there's pictures out there that he's wearing a Manchester City scarf on one side and Real Madrid on the other.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean,
they
if you're listening to this, maybe not, maybe. Please, I'm begging you.
Honestly, it kind of... talking about aligning, it lines up with what Rio Ferdinand was saying, and you know what, I have to agree with him. Like he's spot on with the fact that this season right now, this 1920 season, De Bruyne is the best midfielder this season.
Correct.
He is pretty much head and shoulders above anyone else who's deployed in the attacking midfield role, and the way he handled this Real Madrid team at home. Or for them away, it just shows.
No, it's his home too.
It's gonna be, I guess. Oh my god, that sounds a little weird. I hope not.
What?
I mean, I don't know, man. If it guarantees, Real Madrid winning more Clásicos against Barcelona, absolutely.
It might,
because this weekend we have a Clásico coming up on Sunday. And it's a bit nerve-wracking for Marco. It's a bit nerve-wracking for some Madridistas, especially the ones that would consider themselves realists, because in anyone's eyes, this Madrid team, this Zidane team is hurting. Like, they're bleeding out right now.
I mean, we're walking into two teams that are hurting with injuries.
Injuries, yes.
With tactical and tactics that are not really working out.
Right.
One is coming in with just side passes, which is Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then another team that really doesn't know if they're gonna go with a full-on attack and have like a packed midfield. So it's gonna be a really interesting game to watch.
A wild game.
It might still be Messi's game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm very nervous for this weekend. I'm extremely nervous. I'm praying that we walk away with a win, but a tie would also kind of look nice.
I mean, there was a 0-0. It was 0-0 earlier in the season in December when these two teams met at the Camp Nou, and this return,
which I also predicted.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And when I'm right, I'm right.
Take your prediction points. Oh my God. The reverse fixture now. Hopefully, what could calm your nerves, Marco, is that we're actually going to be hosting this Clásico for the first time at Darby Road Pub.
It makes it worse.
At Darby Road Pub. You know what? Maybe they'll indulge you a little bit. They'll give you a beer to knock back the nerves, something like that.
As long as it's not tequila, I'm happy with anything.
A huge shout out to Darby Road, who has agreed to partner up with us for this event. And to anyone who listens to this between now and Sunday, you are hereby formally invited to Darby Road Pub. It's found on 450 Park Avenue in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, here in Dirty Jersey. And it's very local to us. It's actually been the local watering hole for all of our Premier League matches.
Sounds so dirty.
Watering
hole.
I mean, that's the term, right?
Yeah, I know it is.
It kind of goes with the dirty jersey,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You have to get a little dirty.
We don't pump our gas, we pump our fist.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So it's very local to us, very dear to me at least, because it's been the only place, and they're not paying us to say this at all. Like, we're, at least for me, Marco, I guess you share the sentiment. We're very much supporters, and we hold this place dearly because it's brought us our Premier League matches in the morning.
There is nowhere that will open, a bar that would open at 7:30 for us to start drinking. Like Darby Road.
Like Darby Road.
For the past, I don't think this year we've done it as much as we've done in the past couple years.
Right.
For different reasons, but when I started going, what was like maybe 2-3 years ago, 2-3 seasons ago, I remember 7:30 Guinness is the first thing you and remember they didn't have breakfast at the time.
Yes.
Now because of us keep on going, now they actually have breakfast.
Now like, damn, we have to feed these guys.
Yeah, because we got the nice idea of breakfast. Like, no, the chef doesn't come in until like 11. So like,
I remember those days.
Oh, can we go buy something around the corner and bring it here? It's like, but they saw that they were losing a lot of business in food. So I mean,
so they do have probably, maybe because of us, they now have a breakfast menu.
They should have at least one meal of like on that breakfast menu that could be called like Benchwarmers FC.
Oh, a Benchwarmers meal? I don't know. Darby Road. Let's see if we can make it happen. This is the clip to you, giving you that wink. Make it happen. That Benchwarmers breakfast special.
But we all six of us have to agree. Weird, all six of us have to agree on what's gonna be in the breakfast special.
What's gonna be? It's gonna be disgusting, bro. It's gonna be some sort of freaking.
It's like a breakfast with a beer, and it has to be a beer.
It's gonna be like a dunkable, dunkable type. Like a waffle baleada type looking thing. That you can dunk into your beer for a fantastic breakfast experience.
And a lot of ketchup for Eric.
Yes, and a lot of ketchup. I'm actually very excited. So we're putting aside these few minutes to shout out Darby Road and this event for El Clasico on Sunday. The pregame is going to start at 1, so we're going to be set up there bright and early. And if you want to come in to sit down with us, chat with us, have your voice heard on the bench, get behind the mics, get behind the lights, we're going to be set up at 1 p.m. And then the kickoff starts at 3. So we want to try to pack that place out, get a good crowd going. Wear your gear, obviously. Wear your jerseys. We want to see
show who you're repping.
All the Madridista jerseys, all the Barcelona jerseys, retros, recents, scarves, whatever you have, lucky underwear.
But not only that, we're also there specifically to watch Rebels have their first loss of the season.
Wow. So it falls coincidentally with the MLS home opener. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You missed. Yeah, you missed. Yeah, I'm gonna get you back. Don't worry. I got.
I know.
There's ammo for you, boy.
There's still enough podcasts for you.
I got ammo for you, boy. Moving on though, and looking forward to this event, obviously. But moving on to the last of the European action, we have the Europa.
The worst competition in the world. Now
the best competition in the world, baby. Let's go. Best competition ever.
I was gonna say something dumb, and then you told me not to say it, so I'm not gonna say it anymore.
I mean, if you want to say it, it's gonna be on camera, bro.
No, I'm good.
Don't say it, man.
I'm good.
You, the first Premier League team. We're gonna focus a little bit on the Premier League teams. I know there's many others because it was the round of 32.
There's way too many.
Way too many. Round of 32. Right now in Europa, but we had Wolves. They went ahead 6-3 on aggregate. I had Marco sit down before we recorded off air to watch the miss from Pedro Neto with that left-footed shot in an open net. You couldn't believe it, could you?
He should hate himself.
he had his jersey over his head for like at least 15, 30 seconds.
I would have never taken it off.
He didn't take it off, man.
I would have kept it playing just like that. Open the two holes.
You saw the fans behind the goal. They were just like, yeah, shit.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, they ended up walking away with the win.
I mean, it didn't really mean much, but for a personal that's gonna be on his highlight reel, man. Unfortunately, and the bad thing is that the commentators. I was watching this the Spanish broadcast. The commentator was just saying about how good of a left foot Pero Neto had.
I love how that always happens.
Yeah, the
like
commentator.
you can
curse the commentator, man.
yeah, bro. Curse of anything, bro.
It's
The
real.
minute you start saying something nice about a player,
Mm.
he fucks up immediately.
Yeah, man.
I've seen that with Pepe, Pepe, this guy.
Yeah.
So many times, Sergio Ramos, literally anybody you start
It's
talking
real,
nice
man.
about,
It's real.
it just goes south immediately after.
So Wolves went ahead. They didn't deploy Raul Jimenez. They scored some pretty beautiful goals during this match.
Yeah,
Traore getting on the score sheet too. And
Beast, man.
it looked like Espanyol was going to try to battle back, but at the end it wasn't enough. And we move on to the next match. United hosting Club Brugge at Old Trafford. I posted it on my personal Instagram account because I just couldn't believe it. But it was a shot that Daniel James took early on. United went out. They went out attacking like straight at them. They had at least like I think 3 missed chances in like the first few minutes. Igalo coming close, but Daniel James taking a right-footed curling shot. Mignolet hadn't dove yet, and then I forget the name of the defender. I think it was like Letty or something. He actually like. The ball's coming to me. James hits it with his right foot. It's curling to the right. It's going to the corner. And he actually has his hand behind his back. He leans over and he does this. And like he hits the ball out. Like a freaking like a volleyball. Like save. And I was like immediate red card, like no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And they actually spent like
who said that? Suarez? Somebody I think it was in the chat or something that said
yeah,
Suarez
it was Suarez, yeah.
Was it you?
Yeah, freaking Suarez against Ghana, man. The biggest listen, the biggest injusticia, if you want to say it in Spanish for everyone out there, all the Uruguayos that are listening, the biggest injustice done in world football at the World Cup specifically was that Suarez handball against Ghana, man. Yeah. It really threw them off.
Hell yeah.
So this red card, they reviewed it, everything, blah, 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 blah. Bruno stepped up, slided home the penalty. I think Bruno is the best thing that has happened to United right now. Of course, it's only been a few matches, but it looks like he's holding the team together, especially when they were missing someone that had that attacking mindset. And he was linking up with Mata. He's putting in like these started passes. It was great. You had Fred getting an assist and 2 goals at the end, and Odion Igalo getting his first goal, dedicating it to his late sister who passed away in December. So that was pretty cool. He lifted up his jersey. He had the photo of her and a T-shirt underneath. That was a nice moment. So they ran out 5-0 winners. Someone had messaged me saying that this defender ruined the game, kind of like ruined the game for United, but it's like, it's not a United, like
not your fault
that he does something dumb like that. Like, of course, maybe it would have been more interesting if it was 11-on-11, but
I mean, it's the second play you guys pay.
Right. If you what? What'd you say? Wow. Wow.
Best part is it's on camera.
Wow, man.
It was recorded, and you said, "Yep."
I'm over here looking at.
You confirmed it.
I'm over here looking at the.
Eric will appreciate this one.
Yeah. Oh, Simon Deli. Wow, I'm over here looking at the match facts. That's crazy.
Sorry, it's 2-0.
That's crazy. It's okay. It's all right. I got ammo for days, boy.
I know. I'm just afraid.
I'm letting Marco get it in. I'm not even upset. I'm in a good mood. They won 5-0. Move on to the next round. It's the greatest European competition. It's fine. Before we get to the real circus show, though, Ajax getting knocked out by Getafe, that really made headlines. And I think that's worth mentioning because you had Ajax as Champions League semifinalists last season.
Yes.
And now they got knocked out of the round of 32 in the Europa League. And they will most likely be back in Champions League if they, I think they're leaders in
their league.
In their league, I believe they are.
I mean, when you get rid of half your squad,
that's the thing too. There was people that were like, "Oh my god!" It's like, no, but you have to be real about it. Like that team was torn apart. Like a lot of the playmakers, a lot of the key figures for that.
Didn't 3 of them,
squad,
5 of them leave?
Dipped, yeah. Gone.
So you have to rebuild. It didn't work out for you, Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
I think you lost a player in the winter transfer.
Correct.
So now you're back to not back to zero, but now you have to fill in that spot, and whoever's filling it in maybe not the best player out there. So Getafe on a good day, which they're in fucking top 4 in La
they
Liga.
are. They are. They nicked that away goal and they got through. They went through, and that's all they needed. Right now, Ajax are 3 points ahead with 53 in the Eredivisie, and it looks like it may be enough to carry them throughout the season so that they can win the league. There's still a lot of league to play for, though, so I'm not calling that. Just saying that most likely their ticket back into the Champions League will be winning the Eredivisie. So the last one on here that we want to talk about, you know what? I'm giving all the benefit of the doubt to Eric that he's not here for personal reasons. You know, he had stuff to take care of. But listen, it's just real suspect, man. Arsenal losing out to Olympiacos.
I mean,
2-1 at home.
Yeah.
And you had man, he was unmarked though. The first goal Olympiacos scored, he's unmarked, goes right through the middle of the defense. He's really tall, so he actually like bent down a little bit to head the ball in. 1-0 early on. I think it was like 53rd minute or something like that. And then
I think it was in front of David Luiz.
Right in front of him, yes.
And
yes, 53rd minute. Cisse getting that assist from Valbuena. I think it was a corner kick if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And then I don't know what happened. It took them. It was enough to hold Olympiacos all the way to 90 minutes. They were still tied because they both had an away goal. So they went over to extra time, and in the 113th minute, you had an Aubameyang overhead kick, and it just. I want to underline this. Out of all the clowning that's going on for Arsenal on like Twitter and social media, whatever, the fact that Aubameyang had the nerves of steel to put the ball in the net at that point, like they had a lifeline there, like they were going through, like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that was it. And it was a corner, 119th minute. The goalie went up too, and they fluffed it a little bit. It was on the right flank, and it was an in-swinging ball with the left foot that they put in, and again over David Luiz.
Over David Luiz in front of Socrates.
In front of Socrates, and then you had
we all thought that it was going direct. The ball was directed to the one guy that was offside.
Right.
And he just stepped back in line, didn't even participate in the
and he left. Play. And he left El Arabi all alone, 33-year-old striker for them, and he kind of tucks it in. He tucks it in away. He taps it into the right side of the net, and that was it. That just really deflated them. There was already images of Aubameyang apparently crying after the match, or like around stoppage time.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not gonna lay it on thick because, man, if I were a fan of this team, I would have been done a while ago. But I'm talking about Aubameyang specifically. I really don't want to see people trying to clown on Aubameyang, especially after he missed that one chance at the end. Because a lot of people were like, "Oh, he missed a sitter. How could he do it? He's world class." It's like, no. He's already doing so much for this team. Like you still had, there was a tweet that Arsenal put out on their official Twitter, all out attack, and they had Instagram. Sorry, they put out photos of Ozil, Pepe, Laka, and Aubameyang. They had like the attacking trident, and then Ozil in the hole. That's what we were talking about on the show. Actually, that Arteta has to continue doing that, and it just didn't pay off for them. And you were talking about even how frustrating again it was to see Pepe with some of the chances that he was having. He just wasn't having shots.
He wouldn't take it.
He gets too kind of like closed-minded or like narrow-sighted.
I think he has like tunnel vision.
Yes, tunnel vision.
All his tunnel vision only allows him to see what's on his foot, and it's the ball, and to see the half a foot of like the player in front of him, and he has to go around them. And like he's been doing so well that he hasn't been playing like that. Because, don't get me wrong, it's nice to see.
Sure, no, dribbling,
but not in this game particularly. What we need is a goal.
That's yeah, right. That's not. It doesn't contribute to what you need, which is putting the ball in the back of the net, because they should have put this team away a long time ago.
Any other game, I would have. Oh my God, he did that. Oh, like okay, didn't score, but whatever. But this one, I didn't need to see that. I needed him to
need to advance,
take a touch, take a shot,
take a shot,
or pass it to the left. That Lacazette's always going to be to his left. And that's not the case. And Laka was most of the time nowhere to be found. It's look, at the end of the day, it's hard. It was a hard game to watch.
Mhm.
I watched the extra time driving, which I don't recommend anybody to do, but I do it anyway.
No, you said you had just gotten home. You were sitting in your driveway,
Oh
right?
yeah, exactly. That's what I
Okay,
was
okay,
saying.
okay, okay.
And yeah, man, it hurt a lot because I've had a shit week. Well, not really.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get it.
Sportsman's wise, I had
Right,
a
right,
shit
right.
week.
Right.
And this was just like the icing. I'm like, fuck. And it's not like I would never blame Aubameyang because he literally has.
No, I
carried us.
wouldn't. And it shows. Yeah, it shows that he's dragging this team through their low points. And honestly, like as much as anyone else who would want to bash on Arsenal for getting knocked out like this, you just can't put any blame on Aubameyang.
Yeah,
you really
no.
can't. He's the one person that's kind of shielded from everything that's going on, and other people might call it unfair, but really, who's the guy who scored?
No, I think
who's
he
the guy
has,
who put an overhead
17
kick
goals for
in the
in
113th
EPL.
minute? Yeah, and
He
right
has
now
3 or
he's
4.
tied for leading goal scorer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He has
The
like
one
over
thing-
20 goals already with us.
One
right
thing
now this
that
season.
Eric immediately said, which hopefully is okay that I'm quoting him. He's like, well, there goes the contract extension.
Well, that was my next thing. Is like the only way to keep him is if we make it a Champions League, but it's harder now because we don't really know if Manchester United's spot is actually available or not. Because I've been reading some stuff about Manchester City, sorry, not United. The appeal and their lawyers are trying to drag it out, and if they do, then their spot is still there for next season. Blah blah blah. So the only 2 ways of him staying is him us making it to Champions League,
right,
and give him a very nice contract,
Uh-huh.
or that he loves what Arteta is doing so much that he wants to stick around for 1 more year. But the money has to be right.
I know, man.
And I know that Arteta already has his eye on a couple players that he's gonna end up letting go. It's again, it's frustrating, but I would never blame Aubameyang for anything.
No, and honestly, he's 30, so you can't even blame him then if he thinks about himself, because at that point, even though he's kept, I would say he's kept well, like physically for a player and athletically, his athleticism has kept up well for his age. I wouldn't blame him if he thinks about himself. It's like, listen, if he's sitting there, he's like, damn, I only have 2 good playing years left. I want to go on the bigger stage. I need to go.
This is my last chance.
That's it. But I was reading some match comments about Arteta saying how this one really hurt. It was a bit painful. They kind of had plans going into this competition, and it sounded like he had some idea on how to kind of like formulate his team around this competition, use it as a way to get the most out of his players, understand his team, and all that. But it just didn't happen for them, and now they're
and that was one of the things that I think that they asked him in the last fixture before walking into today was, it should be easy going home to play against Olympiacos, and he's like, no, this could be a tough game.
Yeah.
And it was. At the end
of the
day,
they were set up. He was talking about like how it's hard to break down a team that has 10 defenders, and either way, Olympiacos was defending for the majority of that game, but they put their chances away, and that was really what it came down to.
Yep.
Especially at the 119th minute, they definitely put their chances away. So, Arsenal in Champions League.
I mean, it's not funny.
I mean, another year in Europa.
I mean, you're gonna be there too. So
listen, I'm just saying, United are through. I'm happy with that. Those are the only hits that I'm gonna put on the drum set for Arsenal, because it looks like a lot of people are kind of fed up and done with the season now. Like the last ones that were kind of hanging on to this like bit of hope. I remember reading one tweet that was saying that he's curious as to how experimental Arteta's gonna get in the league now, because that's really the only thing that they have left to focus on.
I think he should go all out.
I guess so.
I mean, there is nothing else to do but to go literally all out using the 2 players that you brought. You just purchased, test them out, test how it is to not have Lacazette up top, throw Martinelli on the left, use Pepe, but tell him not to do what he does, what he does best, which is, again, he has to choose the games that he's going to be doing it at. And then just try shit out, man. Look, I think we're 4 points behind you guys, but our next game, well, it should have been Manchester City, but I don't think it is anymore.
No.
I don't think that's going to be down the line.
Yes, it's going to be moved, that fixture.
The possibilities of us, you guys, or everybody above us losing points consistently from here until what how many games do we have? Like 11 games.
We have 11 games left. Yeah.
It's. I mean, I could ask for it. It's just I don't know if it's gonna happen.
It's tough because not just from United's point of view. It's tough because you have three balanced-ish teams. I'm thinking about Spurs, but you have two other balanced teams in Sheffield and Wolves that know their football and they know how to do it well. Like they know what works for them and they know how to execute that. So
I mean, the only thing against Wolves is hopefully we the game with them lands on the same time that they're going to be going to Europa.
Yeah,
so
they
kind of have to
match
figure out which one.
there.
Yeah, but that's the only thing. Like that's putting on straws, man.
Yeah,
that's
wishing for a lot.
Yeah, no, like the stars have to know
again. Oh my God, stop, dude. In the in stars aligning for banter though, you had NYCFC finally playing their match at Red Bull Arena in the CONCACAF Champions League.
No,
I'm sorry, man. Less than 1,000 players in that.
Okay, and
it's awful, bro.
Walked away with the dub.
Awful, bro. Yeah, they did win 6-3.
I mean, that's
on
as
aggregate.
much glory as Rebels has ever received.
6-3 on aggregate. It's okay. You know what? You'll take the 1,000, less than 1,000 spectators.
I'll take it because we're
in the
not our home.
stadium, man. You can't even feel it when it's rented to you. That's nuts.
That's cool.
The other teams that are advancing, it looks like in the CONCACAF Champions League, you had Atlanta putting their tie away. It looks like Montreal also advanced, unless I'm mistaken. And tonight, actually later tonight, in like about 20 odd minutes, you have LAFC and Sounders having their matches start and seeing who goes through. And really, the CONCACAF Champions League kind of heats up once it looks like it gets better near the end once all of the MLS teams and like the Liga MX teams start to meet in like the semi and quarterfinals of that competition.
And it sucks because I would really like this competition to be a lot more than what it is.
Yeah.
If you're calling CONCACAF Championship, or
I mean, you had some matches in there. You had some teams like Comunicaciones that were putting up a fight. You had Saprissa that was up there. Alianza as well. It looked like they were. I should mention that Tigres against Alianza. They got this last minute goal, 94th minute. Nahuel Guzman. You know, you always see teams talk about throw up the goalie on a corner kick, and they actually did it this time, and the goalie scored. He scored the header in the 94th minute to put them through on aggregate 5-4. So that was one of those awesome moments. Tigres kind of really fought for that. But yeah, you have teams like Comunicaciones, Olimpia, Deportivo Saprissa. You know, they hung in there, but I think it's been rare when they actually advance. So yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see one of those teams, not from a lesser league, one of those teams from a lesser known league, in these Central American countries that are also part of CONCACAF, to kind of make it through. That'd be really cool.
Of course.
But that's it. That's it for all the European competition. I hope you guys aren't bored of Marco and I. We tried our best to make it enjoyable, or at least somewhat tolerable for everyone, since we're a few bench warmers short. But we appreciate everyone sticking through it and tagging along with us for tonight's episode. There were no red cards or yellow cards handed out, thankfully.
I mean,
just between us.
There was moments that I think I should have deserved one or two, but
I let it slide, bro. You're by yourself.
I kept my cool. Like,
listen,
I mean, look, I do have to say one thing.
All right.
So your card and my card were supposed to be in revision for this podcast.
Correct.
But it's been more than 48 hours.
Right.
So we should assume that it didn't go through and neither of us are going to get a card.
I think so, man.
I mean, Bar never said anything.
Anyone that is against the review, say aye.
I guess it's like counting, bro. I mean, look, they should have been here if they wanted us to have the yellow.
Listen, man.
Look, I stick my two yellows.
Gentleman's handshake. Gentleman's handshake.
I mean, take them out into the fact that nobody said anything.
Listen.
And how long does it bar review, or what is it called when they do that after the game?
Oh yes. The referee. It's like the ref organization review by the PGMOL and stuff like that.
Correct. And then give them 24 hours to review it.
Yes.
Or and give a verdict or whatever.
Yes.
We give them more than that, 72 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So Edgar never said anything.
Sorry, guys. You know what? We have to go by the rules. We have to, like Eddie said, take advantage of the loopholes.
There you go. No
Oh,
yellow
man,
cards.
fantastic,
and
man.
all
I feel-
week.
I feel a yellow card lighter. That's great.
You didn't have one, so of course you.
I had one. I had one.
Did you?
Remember? Yeah. You had 3 and I got 1.
Oh yeah, but because we took them off,
Yeah, yeah.
then it doesn't exist. So I go back to 2. You go back to 0.
Yes, sir.
So it's only you and Eddie that still don't have yellow card.
Yeah.
Oh no, Eddie gave.
No,
himself
Eddie
a
got
yellow.
one. Yeah, Eddie gave himself a yellow.
But that was
A
his
gentleman's
own.
yellow.
Yeah, it was gentleman's yellow.
Yeah, gentleman's yellow. We're again reiterating that we're going to be at Darby Road this Sunday for a Clasico, Real Madrid against Barcelona. So make sure that if you're local, come by, have a chat with us, sit down. We have some T-shirts, some Benchwarmer T-shirts that we're going to be giving away for those brave fans that are going to sit down and sit to have a chat with us. We're going to have all the mics there, some cameras, and really just bring the atmosphere. Bring your passion for your club, especially if you're a Real Madrid fan, Barcelona fan, and make your club seen, man. Because you know what? Tell the Barca supporters, those Madridistas, they talk smack about you all the time. Like they talk smack about you behind your back. They've told me, you know, they told me that you guys suck. That you're reliant on Messi all season. You know, show them up, man.
It's called Messi FC.
Show them up. And you know what? All you Madridistas, you know, these Barca guys, they're not cool. They're not cool because they talk shit about you too, man. They really do. They tell me. They tell me all the time. They're like, man, these Madridistas, they think they own the world. They think that Florentino Perez can just throw money at all of their problems. It'll go away. You know,
we're not Man City, but
Bale's trash. I'm like, Bale's trash. Vinicius pa cuando? You had Soria over the weekend. You know, making a little dance in a rap video for.
He did do that
for the Vinicius, man. You know, they're clowning you, bro. They're clowning you guys.
Soria,
Show up and rep your team.
And if you guys don't know who Soria is, so you should know because if you follow Real Madrid, you should know who Soria is. But if you don't, he's from the Chiringuito.
Chiringuito, shout out if you guys ever watch this Chiringuito.
Saludos.
And I hate you.
No, I love you guys.
I hate you, Soria.
Edu.
Poor Edu, bro. They put him in so much pressure.
But hey, he hangs out with Ronaldo, so
yeah, he does. But this isn't, you know, Real Madrid talk. It's not gonna be Chiringuito TV talk. It's about El Clasico. So again, we're inviting you, all of you fans, benchwarmers and fans alike, to come through to Darby Road. We're looking forward to it. Really excited for it. And then also we're gonna get hopefully some really good footage tomorrow night at the mini Clasico. That's a nice way to lead up to the weekend. You know what I mean? I feel like it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool weekend.
It definitely gonna be cool.
So we're signing off for tonight. Thank you very much for sticking through it. A nice, quick, and clean episode of the European competition. We know we have some matches on the weekend, but we want to really focus on El Clasico, one of the bigger matches that is coming up in La Liga. So make sure you follow us and tune in next week. We'll see how the results go. Did you give a score prediction real quick before we get off for the Clasico? I don't think so.
No.
All right, man. Here's your chance.
Shit, I don't want to jinx it.
If you're right, all right. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. 2-1, Real Madrid wins.
2-1, Real Madrid?
Hey, in the middle of recording, I actually said it's going to be a tie. And
yeah, you did say it was going to be a tie.
I
don't want it to be a tie, man.
Neither do I. I
don't want it to be a tie.
We need to win.
But I think it's going to be 1-1. I don't want it to be a tie. Believe me, I don't want it to be a tie. But it's going to be 1-1.
But...
All right. That's what we got. Thanks for joining us again. We're the Benchwarmers. This is the Bench with a Voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.
Deuces.